Alright, so we are going to run through one by one the flex supports you'll be playing and everything you need to know about them. Here we go. You're probably going to have to watch this more than once. So let's start with ability number 1, Sleep Dart. Sleep Dart I think is on a 12-second cooldown. Just learned that now. It is a wind-up animation, kind of like Maze Icicle. So one of the best ways to use it is to start the animation, then flick to where you want it to be. So say there's a Pharah ulting up in the sky, you do that. You start the left shift down here, and then you flick upwards, so that by the time you get to where you're flicking, the sleep is already there, instead of flicking up and then pressing it. So watch what I just did, and then watch this. You see how much slower that is? You could be dead in that time. Understand? Okay, so another thing with Sleep Dart. You're gonna be playing a lot of Ana, by the way. So buckle up. So Sleep Dart. There's an animation at the very end. It's like you'll hear a sound, a sleep. So let's listen, right? It'll go down. The pitch will go down, and then the pitch will go up. Listen.
What?
See, hear that upswing when after it goes like doo, and then it goes back up and it goes doo. That last little tiny bit, the animation for waking up is longer. So say you're doing a fight, right? You're doing a fight, and then when it comes to flank you, so you sleep them. You can stay in the fight and wait for this animation, and then wait. Okay, and you can one-shot them. That combo is left click, E, left click, melee. Okay. Let's watch it again, right? So we'll just teabag this guy. This guy's actually really low, but it doesn't matter. Okay.
You're powered up. Get in there.
E. E is a lot longer of a radius than you'd expect it to be.
This will only
Okay.
hold for a minute.
So the radius from there kind of comes out to like about here, right? If I landed it here, it comes out to about here. It is a massive radius. So say they're walking through a choke, right? Okay, this is the team walking through the choke. Here's the choke right here. Okay, if I were to just throw a nade up here, it'll hit everyone underneath behind the right shield. Okay, that's some pro Ana strats for you right there. Okay. You know what Anti does, obviously, and it also boosts healing by an amount that I'm not sure of. Last thing for Ana, I believe, is quickscoping. So these shots, hip fire shots, are projectiles. You can kind of see them as they move. Scoped is hit scan. If you don't know, hit scan is a fancy word for it hits at where you aim, and where you click, that's where it goes. Okay, so when you quickscope like this, it allows you to keep moving and keep unpredictability, but hit scan shots, right? So if there's a Pharah up in the air and you just do that, right, you can hit a hit scan shot instead of trying to hit these weird hip fires on it, okay? Which is going to be real helpful in 3 DPS, because if you're trying to heal a Sombra, quickscoping is your best friend, okay? So in order to do that, right, you right click. So I have it not on toggle. I just press it and hold it for the scope. It's up to you, but what I do is I press it for like a half a second, and then I click left click, and then I let go. Like that, okay? You're gonna have to practice it a lot, but I promise you, it is well worth it. Okay, Baptiste. I've played a lot of Baptiste. He's my favorite. Of course, he knows the recoil on the weapon. There's not much to know, aside from a tip is to turn his automatic reload off. Let's see. I don't know. There's an option in here. Oh, automatic reload. Here it is. So you can turn that off. So that when you get, because you have 2 forms of ammo, right? So if like you're healing a bunch, right? And you're like healing your Orisa and your Hog and you're just going for it, and then you run out of ammo, it won't reload. It'll just make this weird sound. You'll have to manually do it. So that helps because if you run out of like healing and you just want to left click, it won't force you to reload. Another tip would be EMP. Okay, so this can be hacked and it can be EMP'd at the same time. So what you want to do once it's down is you can throw it up in the air and it'll go a little bit and then stop and then come back down. So say you see a Sombra decloaking like right in front of you. So what you do is you flick up, you press E, and you wait for it to come back down. And it'll come back right on top of you. And so while it's in the air, it can't get EMP'd. Kind of make sense? Yeah? Last tip, your grenade arc is the exact same as the lamp arc, or the field arc. So where this goes, the field will go. So you can use that to test beforehand where you want it to go. Okay. Also, let's see. Oh, another thing on Ana that I forgot is reload canceling. So, number 1, when you run out of ammo, if you're healing people, and you get to 0, your animation reload at 0 is actually longer than it is at any other time. So this animation right here is a little bit longer than this one. Yeah? Okay. Anyway, reload canceling. So if you're doing stuff and you need to reload, you can, there's a point where your ammo gets into the gun and then you cock it back as an extra part of the animation. So you can interrupt that animation by using an ability, right? So watch my ammo counter. There's the point right here. You see that? Click, click. So the full animation is click, click, click. Okay, but you can cancel that last click with an ability or melee. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Continuing. Brig. So I'm pretty sure I taught you this thing on Brig, but I'm pretty sure. Okay, so if you jump on a squishy hero, it's 2 swings, bash, swing, whip, swing. Will kill them. So fast, it'll look like this. Like that. Or if you don't have a wall to hit them onto, you can just do 3. 1, 2, 3, bash, whip, like that. Other than that, I think you know how to use shield for mobility. I watched you do that a lot. Other than that, there's not much. Your healing radius is really long. Like it's this long about, right? It's about as long as your whip shot is. All right, I think it's the exact same range. So like about here. I'd be healing him right now if I were Brig. No, okay, allied. About here. There we go. Okay. And this keeps up your Inspire as well.
I see you over there.
Another good way to 1v1 people is here. Let me. Like people like Tracer and Roadhog have to reload very often. So while you're loading, you shield during them shooting, and then you go back in when they're done shooting. That's how you make your 1v1s more effective. You don't play Lucio, you're not going to. If you have questions about him ever, let me know. Stay with Mercy. Moira. Okay, I've got a lot of weird, funky tips from Moira. You ready for this? So, as we told you earlier, your fade will take you about this far. About, what, 13, 14 meters? If you jump at the end of it, you'll carry your momentum to 20. Okay? It's called, well, I like to call it perpetual momentum. It works on almost every single hero that has a jump ability. We talked about this earlier. Here's another thing. So your heal is a dot, or a, well, damage over time, but it's healing over time. It's a hot. So you spritzing it like this is the exact same as doing this. Okay? Just that. And you can leave it to, I'll let him get low. Do you hear that? They're still healing. I'm gonna spritz it and watch.
I'm restoring you.
You see how long that goes? So when you're tapping somebody up, it goes a little, it goes faster, like healing up people when you hold it. Just because it refreshes the healing over time. So if you're like, if somebody's like really low, then you can hold it. But if you're just healing people up, you can just tap it. Yeah? Okay. So say you're healing people going crazy. You're running out of juice, right? Your right click gives you juice back. But there's a faster way to do it. If you tap right click, it's actually faster. Watch this. You see how fast that filled up? Okay. So if you're in the middle of a fight and you don't need the damage, you just do this. Okay. If people, so say, last thing, I think, for people that get grabbed, so say you're all sitting here and you get grabbed, you can fade out, left click once, healing orb, and then coalescence. Okay. I lied, not last thing. Gosh, I need somebody to illustrate this for me. But basically, when you crouch back and forth, your character like move their head back and forth, so it's extremely hard to hit you. I'm not even gonna bother. But basically, doing this is more makes you almost impossible to hit, just because your head moves with you, like where you're going. So just doing this, it's almost possible to hit you. I wish I could get somebody in here to show you, but I'm not gonna even bother. All right, last one, Zen. So you have default, which is really gross. We don't like default here. You have two options. I have my Discord on right click and my secondary fire on middle mouse. For this reason of right click and left click, well, Discord, and then you can hit people really easily with it. And then also right after your secondary fire, it makes Discording a lot easier. Gosh, I keep lagging. I hope it's not showing up on the video. Okay, so another tip on Zen. You've got two options when you're firing secondary fires, right? So you hold your secondary fire. You can either track them like this, okay, where you kind of just follow their head, like a little bit past their head. So like this, a little bit past their head, right? Or you wait, and you can just aim it all at the same spot. Okay? So say he's passing right here, I'd throw them all right there, because by the time he'd cross into it, some of them would hit the front of his head, and some of them would hit the back of his head. So let me do that again. Okay? I personally track it. That was, he moved, bro. Did you see that? Okay, that was flipping awful, dude. I'm actually garbage. But yeah, I like that. I track it. It seems a lot easier for me, but whichever way is easier for you, works for you. Anyway. As far as trance goes, There's some really funky tips, like Diva Bomb can boop you up to high ground, that kind of weird stuff. Basically, all you need to know, it does a lot of healing, and you go really fast if you need to rotate. So, like, let me charge my ult here. Oh my gosh, if I can. Yeah, I'm really tired. Holy moly, I cannot aim. Yeah, Masters, by the way. Holy moly. Okay. So here's what I'm talking about when I talk about positioning, when I talk about repositioning with trance, right? So say we're in a grab, right? I'm trancing.
Tranquility.
The grab ends, so I'm gonna scoot backwards behind them, and then I can continue doing what I'm doing, right? Okay. Another thing about Zen is that when you are in a fight and you can see people, you want to left click. Because left click does more damage per second than right click does. But if you're like behind a wall, kind of waiting, then you can right click. Okay? Right. So that's it.
Greetings.
Welcome to Orange Team, by the way.
Peace be upon you.
And I'll get this to you as soon as I can. Probably tonight.